Hello Internet, it's Zeg, and as you may be able to see up here in the top right hand corner, Factorio has finally released version 1, which means it's time to make a new video, because, it's not like I haven't played this game an exceptionally large amount, and we may as well have even more video of it on our channel. So get ready. I'll just quickly run into here and paste in the map string that I've already pre-prepared, because I briefly want to talk about what my aim is with this vanilla playthrough. Obviously the settings aren't going to be quite vanilla, but that's because there's two things that I want to attempt to achieve in this video. Firstly, just to get through the whole game in a reasonable amount of time. Probably not speedrun speed, but I'll try and be slightly faster than I usually would be. Try and remember to scale larger and quicker than I usually do, because I'm normally quite slow and, precise, and I'll unnecessarily wait for things, which is a bad habit in Factorio. And the other thing I want to achieve, which may not actually happen during the videos, but this video will assist towards that, is there's one achievement that I don't have in Factorio, and that's the 20 million green circuits achievement, because that is a fucking lot of green circuits, and I normally play Modern, which doesn't count towards the achievement, so, here's an excuse to play a vanilla run, I guess, and try and make as many green circuits as I can. So to that end, the settings, I've slightly enhanced richness of a few things, and size and frequency and all that. I like playing with a bit of extra water. Unlike a lot of people, I do actually like playing with cliffs for one specific reason, where if I open the map preview, you will see that I've turned the continuity of cliffs up a bit, so they are a bit more continuous, I guess. That's what that setting's for. The one reason I like cliffs, really, is because it saves a lot of effort in the sort of early into mid-game of building defensive walls, because you can just block off all the little gaps in your starting areas, effectively circle of cliffs, and effectively have an almost free wall, because fighters can't target cliffs. And they're indestructible until later on, so, it's quite nice to be able to cheaply wall off a much larger area rather than having to build a completely contained wall yourself. Saves a lot on walls and turrets, basically. And with this map generation, which I chose specifically, there's oil inside the loop, there's iron and extra copper and stone pretty close or just outside, and even uranium, not that that's going to be a worry until much, much later. The only problem with this map is really that, the starting area is quite wet. There's a lot of water, a lot more water than necessary, so it might get quite landfill heavy, but luckily with these two extra stone patches within easy reach, that shouldn't be a problem either. Enemy settings, I usually turn down maximum expansion distance and turn up the cooldown slightly, so it's not quite like Railworld settings or anything, but it slows down how fast enemies repopulate an area after you've wiped them out of it, so that just kind of reduces the constant hassle of that. And don't forget to always turn on research queue. Always check that setting. Right, okay, so now let's get in. Oh, and the other reason I chose this spawn specifically, after checking a couple, is so that the nice ship crash sequence that's new to the 1.0 release is not on top of any of the resources, so I can keep the nice crash ship as part of my base. Not all these bits, I'll probably just clean all this up, but the actual ship itself. So let's just get rid of all the little extra bits. Okay, and, well, I also did a brief stint in Sandbox to make, blueprint library. I made a set of rail blueprints that are grid-based, which uses the new, lock to grid setting in blueprints. So when we come to railways, maybe I'll use those, or maybe I won't, I don't know. I haven't really decided yet. Okay, so chuck that in, any large rocks in the vicinity. I didn't actually check the map before I started it. I don't think there are. Large rocks would kind of help, but there doesn't appear to be any, so that's a shame. Gonna have to do this the much slower way. Oh yeah, and turn on the alt. Always got to turn on the alt. Okay, you two can get on doing that. I'm actually going to scout a little bit further to see if there's any rocks at all, because I really don't want to have to hand mine a bunch of stone and coal. That would be really helpful. Actually, wait, can I see anything in the map? I don't remember if the rocks appear in the map. It's been a while. No, this looks like a far too much of a nice green field to have too many rocks in it. Nope, there's really nothing. Okay then, well, I guess we know that we're going to be putting a drill actually onto stone quite quickly. Because every one of these burner mining drills needs a stone furnace, and, you know, you need stone furnaces anyway. Right. Let's just get these guys straight onto some actual materials. Wait, what am I doing? Oh, yeah. I need a tree as well to make some chests. I suppose I should make some kind of hotbar, even if it's just a temporary one. Radars, I guess, sure, why not? Oh yeah, and that's another thing that I probably need to think about for recording a video purposes. Need to remember to try and build slightly more lamps than I usually would, which is to say more than 0, because I never bother building lamps. So video-wise, I'm planning on probably doing a short bit of real-time footage at the start and end of a video, and then just speeding up the footage in the middle. It's what I tried to do last time I recorded Factorio, although last time I did it, getting into a bit of behind the scenes, but the exporting of the sped up footage was incredibly slow for some reason, but I think maybe I fixed that now. Who knows? We'll see. But that would be a better idea for the video anyway, I think, regardless of how long it actually takes. Okay, so what do we need? We just need to get going on power and all that as soon as possible, so just a bunch more of these would be good. Oh yeah, and I want another one to backfill the other one. Use that old trick. Oh man, speaking of playing vanilla and not having any mods, I already miss even distribution, because that's just way more useful. Okay, we need one on copper. I'm still trying to even distribute it, it's just not going to work. Right, now where are we going to put the starting base? Well, we know it's all water up here, this way towards the cliffs, so we'll probably want maybe jam power in up here and then just run the sort of actual base over this way. Would probably be the best idea. I mean, I say the actual base. It's all temporary until you reach blue science, and then you rip the whole thing down and start over, naturally. Does that make sense? Well, we could build the power down here instead, I guess. It's slightly close to the coal. But if we run the coal up and over, that maybe be better to merge it with the mineral lines. Yeah, we'll do it up here, it's fine. I'll just do it towards the bottom of up here. Somewhere around, let's say, here-ish. No, not that way round. Okay, and power cables. Now there are a few small biter bases inside the ring, so we will have to deal with those relatively quickly, but it shouldn't be too much problem. I can usually handle it. Yes, electric modules, that's what we need. And now a ton of belts. This really is probably too many, but whatever. It's a little far. Okay, then we need a lab. May as well get the light armor as well. And get automation researched. Right, now let's think about an actual smelting line of some kind. I mean, again, all going to be temporary, so it probably doesn't matter if I don't make this super efficient or super future upgradable or anything. It will probably all get ripped down, so let's just blueprint out a regular quick one. Do I want double input or single input? May as well go double. And of course I don't actually have long inserters yet, so I can't finish this blueprint. That'll do for now. Right, how far down the research tree do I have to go to get long inserters? I don't even remember. Not there. Wait, no, hang on. They're already researched from the start, aren't they? I do actually have long inserters. Boy, it really has been a long time since I last played vanilla. Okay, so let's see. I think, if I remember rightly, it's 24 furnaces per belt. So we want to leave enough space to get a full line in, ideally. So we'll make sure we're clear of the stone deposit and put it somewhere around here-ish. And I guess update this blueprint. Which you can now do via this fancy little button here. Keeps the blueprint and updates the contents. Not that it matters for that blueprint that I just quickly made out of, you know, as just a generic blueprint. But if you have your blueprint named and properly set up with all its little extra fanciness, then you can use that to change your blueprint's contents without losing all the naming and all that stuff, which is convenient. Right, bounce. I've kind of built this facing the wrong way, haven't I? Never mind. We'll deal with that later, if it becomes necessary to deal with that. No, it looks like I built this too far down. I mean, up. Let's just get rid of the top row, and that should be fine. Oh, no, not that one. Oh yes, and of course I'm going to need underground belts, aren't I? Is that 10 research for that again? 20. Wait, what am I doing? That's not even... that's not even right! I've got these the wrong way around. There you go. And we may as well also do that, I guess. Doesn't really matter. don't know why I went back over there. Just waiting for the last of these science packs to finish, really. Okay. Right, hopefully I shouldn't need to do any more of that. I should have really worked out where the edges of this were in advance. Let's actually get this lined up. It's going to be somewhere around here and something like this, and then up on this line, so it's more like here. We may as well make a quick blueprint for that as well. Okay, then let's just work out where the theoretical edges of this are going to be. Ideally, we're going to start by using the ones that aren't mixed, because, well, it's actually not that difficult to sort any longer once you have splitters with filters, so that's just like, not really a problem, but slightly more convenient to start with. Or one could argue maybe it's better to immediately use the combined ones, because then you only use one belt all the way through. Depends on whether you can balance your throughput sufficiently. If the mines don't block each other. Belts, 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 belts. Let's take these two, I think. Let's assume that we're going to split filter them first. So if we put like copper onto a belt here and let iron go past, and then you need an underground belt into the corner, into the merge, so the iron belt should probably go here. And then coal down this side. Well, with a splitter obviously at some point, but okay, let's get the rest of these laid out. So that's 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That should be enough. That doesn't seem right. Well, it doesn't matter. It's really still irrelevant ratios at this point. Just getting a decent amount of production up and running is the more important part. Okay. Oh, yeah, and the splitters. Gonna need some more copper. So let me just cut this off for a sec. Put the splitters on my hotbar, ideally. So what we should be able to do is do this, and then output filter copper onto the right-hand belt. And that way we can just have a right-hand belt's worth of... Wait, hang on. I've got that wrong somehow, haven't I? Yeah, you need that one square further back, technically. Okay, right, well, I think after half an hour of real-time footage, it's time to get some sped-up footage going, because, you know, the start of the game is very samey, not particularly interesting. There was the fancy new sequence, and then it's just pretty much good old Factorio for a few hours. So I'll speed up some footage, and then we'll come back and do a little bit of a sum-up at the end. Okay, and that's a good 2 hours of sped up footage for you there. And we're back. I'm just in the middle of setting up some amount of military science. Not really that necessary, but I thought I'd do it anyway, just for the bullet bonuses. So let's briefly run back over what happened during all the sped up footage, because it may have been slightly difficult to see. I went around and, well, cleared out all the aliens inside the crater. I'll call it the crater. And went around and put a gun on every hole all the way around the edge. So that's all secure now, so we should be pretty much good in terms of defence. I mean, when the pollution cloud starts reaching out to where the biters are at the moment and they start attacking, I'll probably reinforce whichever spot they actually path to with a few extra gun turrets, but that should be pretty much fine for quite a long time, into the middle game at least. And obviously I've been generally upgrading production as I go, so we've got all the smelter stacks are fully set up, not with steel smelters, but that's fine for the meantime. And some of them aren't actually really very much utilised, but that doesn't matter either. It's all temporary. It's all going to go away at some point. Yeah, that's more or less it. I've been burning through research fairly quickly, but hopefully once I get this done I can just do the extra bullet researches and then we'll definitely be safe defensively. Alright, so what do we need? We need grenades down here, and we need walls at the front. Yeah, like this. Except not quite like that, because I need them to go out on the other side of the belt. Don't quite have enough space to pull that off, do we? Because what you really want is this, isn't it? Well, actually, we could do that. That'll work. May not be able to keep up with the amount of bricks you need, though. How long is this? 5.5 a second. It's 5 in 1 second. And maybe I'll just do it the long way. It's not like this bus is going to get filled up properly or anything, so there's plenty of space to work with. And then at the end of this belt we need a filter to prevent... Wait. 1 square further than that, because I need another incoming arm. That will filter off the walls so that only the science packs will go past, and then they can just go straight up here for now. Well, not quite there. Straight up about here. Yep, I think that's about right. Yeah, that should probably be fine. And then coal and iron on the bottom. Okay, let's just branch these belts out. And I also basically just stuck a chest at the end of the green circuit line and upgraded it to about as much as my base can theoretically handle when it's not doing anything else, just to start working on, you know, the 6 million green circuits I still have to make. I hadn't played vanillas for so long I'd forgotten how far I got through that achievement, but apparently further than I thought. I thought I was well below 10 million, but we've only got 6 million to go, so it is theoretically possible I might be able to pull that off during the course of this video. I don't know. I'm going to attempt to scale that as much as possible, you know, just maybe get heavy into modules to actually use them up. This needs to be copper steel. It's going to be too long, isn't it? Or is it exactly the right length? That's going to be too long. Well, that's fine, we can just put this onto an underground instead. This is really where I get bogged down with Factorio. I'm too obsessive about making things just look neat, even when it's completely pointless and unnecessary. Okay, so that's everything we need for those. Walls are good, and then it's just grenades. So that's iron and coal, which will make a separate line for coal, because it's quite a lot of coal. Like this. How annoying is this? It's exactly in the wrong place. Because now I'm going to put iron on the bottom belt and coal on the top belt, and that's going to look stupid as well. Ugh. Gross. That coal mine's done. Let's just stick it on the end up here. That is a nice new little feature. It's sort of a vanilla implementation of the bottleneck mod, except it only really applies to the miners, not to everything. But it is quite a helpful little indication of when the mines have expired. How are we going to make this look less stupid? Not really. Not really any way to make it look less stupid. It's just going to be pretty much just go in there and wiggle it around. I will at least do it like as soon as possible, I guess. No, wait, don't know why I bother making one more pill. I'm going to need quite a few more than that. Get those in, get these in. Okay, theoretically that should be everything that we need. I should really stop making small poles and only make medium, but those do cost steel. It's a bit expensive, but it will just make things much nicer looking in the long run. And also means that I have all these wooden poles cluttering up my inventory at some point in the future. And some lights. is that all working? Just wait until you see one of these factories actually turn on. Yep, okay, good. This could actually do with another arm, I guess. May as well go all the way and put 3 on. So, and I've also still got the walls on the wrong side of that belt, even though that was the whole reason I was trying to do that, to fix that. Kind of forgot why I was doing that in the first place. There. It looks like we're probably going to need slightly more coal production, maybe. I'm not bothering with maths at the moment. Once we actually get into a real proper base design, then I might start bringing the maths. No, I'm gonna have to move my lights. Here we go. I don't know if that many factories will be able to keep up with grey science at this rate, at that many labs, but it doesn't really matter as long as I'm capable of doing it. I'm probably not even going to do that much of it, really. Not for quite a while, anyway. How are we for power at the moment? Still okay. Okay, so what do we actually want from science? I don't need lateral yet, don't need circuits yet, don't need gates yet. Engines, obviously, when we're going to need to get into oil processing for blue science, so that will be coming up shortly. I don't really need red belts at the moment, or trains or any of that. Solar energy is like, I mean, sure, you could put that down to stop burning quite so much coal, but who cares? Especially at this point, may as well use the materials for something else. Concrete, don't need to worry about that. Combat robots, not worried about that, probably ever. And obviously, these are the 2 things that I really built this whole thing for. So I guess I'll just, well, let me do the things that will actually let me progress first, I guess. We'll queue up into oil processing. Is that... what do you actually need for blue science again? Sulfur, advanced circuits, that's plastic, and engine units, which is just steel and iron. So you do need both sulfur and plastic to actually be able to do it. And advanced electronics, apparently. Oh yeah, for the advanced electronics, of course. Yeah, let's just queue all of that. Totally pointless building all this grey science stuff, but you know, we'll just let it stack up and then it'll be ready to go when I suddenly decide that I need bullet damage if the enemies start attacking a lot, which they're probably not gonna. Right, so what's next on the agenda? Well, we're preparing for blue science, which means I need obviously a factory to make engine units, then the oil refinery to make the plastic and the sulfur, but the circuits are made of upgraded green circuits, and obviously sulfur is just a direct oil product, so really all I need is a factory to make engines and a space for a factory to make red circuits, and then that will pretty much be it for blue. The rest of it is the oil process, which involves more coal. So where are the oil deposits? There's one over here, and one here, and there's no extra coal inside the base borders, there's just this one on the outside. So we'll probably end up using the same coal deposit, maybe. So we could just pipe the oil down up here, tap the coal belt just past the power plant and do the temporary oil refinery up in this gap. And then the idea will be, we get blue science done, running, research robots, make a few robots, and then wipe out everything and start over. Standard procedure. How far up the tree is that again, after blue science? Where is robotics? You need electric engines, so that's... I don't even know where that is. Let's just try and find it. Robotics. Okay, lubricant, electric engine, robotics, which gives you the frame, and then construction robots are immediately after that, so it's not really far into blue science. Although obviously you'll probably want at least the 2 levels of robot speed you can get. Don't really need personal robotics until you're actually more capable of building large numbers and charging them correctly. So yes, that's the future plan. What can I do in the meantime? As I'm just sort of standing here watching things go. Is there anything up here we can get more production out of? Well, the steel is sort of sitting still. So that's maybe good, because the iron belts are gradually emptying. And there's stone. Obviously I could just upgrade circuit production some more. I'm going to need another arm to be able to pull those. That's quite a lot of circuits already. Maybe I should quickly research... Well, no, I guess I still need to get to advanced circuits before I can even make tier 1 modules, so... I guess I'll just have to wait on that. I could maybe go out to these biter bases and see if there's... see what kinds of bases they are, because one of the tricks that I like to do for dealing with biter early game pressure is if you go out to a spawn cluster... I should build heavy armor before I do this. If you go out to a spawn cluster where there's a group of them, if you look for the ones that are the spitter spawners and only kill those, because you haven't destroyed the whole base, the enemy won't re-expand into that space. They'll leave the buildings, the spawners that are already there, and then because there's then the only biter spawners, then you don't get any spitters, and then they can't shoot over your walls and they can't damage your turrets, so it just makes it much easier because you don't have to repair as frequently. So there's one spitter spawner amongst this. Unfortunately, it's right behind all the worms, so I may have to fight my way through the worms to get to that one. But it shouldn't be a problem. No, I need to actually put this better armor on. Ooh. Luckily, with small biters still and piercing ammo, you can just eat through things pretty quick. The worms are the problem. Oh shit, I forgot to turn on my combat bar. The one where I have fish, so I can heal. Okay, good. Now we just killed the spitter spawner. And we're good. What about this one? A couple of spitter spawners, but they're a bit more exposed. Ow. Okay. Oh yeah, there's this iron deposit up here. I might actually even stick a turret in the middle of this just to prevent the enemies from building a base on top of it in case they expand up here. Or a few gun turrets, I guess. That will just make it easier for the future. It's definitely possible I might even get to the point of using that iron deposit before the biters expand that far. Maybe. Where are the other bases? Okay, there's one there and then a couple up there. I might just want to extend the map view slightly down there because my pollution cloud is actually right on the edge. I suppose I could build a couple more radars and get it scanned down a bit quicker. Okay, doesn't seem to be anything down here at the moment. Do you have spitter spawners? You do. No, it's all spitter spawners. Well, this one has to go then. And then if they do re-expand to that spot, we can go back there and see if it's not spitter spawners that time. Oh, it's so dark even I can't see. Oh, okay, there's like 4 spitter spawners on the front and then biter spawners at the back. And obviously killing all these nests is actually increasing the biter evolution, but it's a long-term play, I guess, and it's not like they're any threat to my base at the moment. It's more about me standing here getting bitten that's more of the problem. That's just one biter spawn by itself. And those are all biter spawners as well. Okay, good. So that should be pretty much all the fighting I'll need to do for a good long while. I mean, on foot fighting anyway. I'm sure the turrets will get attacked plenty enough as soon as the pollution starts ramping up. In fact, since this one is literally in view of a biter base, I may as well put another couple of turrets down here immediately, because that's very likely to get attacked. And then once I've wiggled my way through these trees, we can get back to base and call this episode 1 complete. Okay. So that's that. Things are going pretty well. That feels like a reasonably fast start by my standards. Only 2 hours worth of work. And now here's the end card with our social things. There's the Facebook, there's the Twitter. Those are really the communication methods that are available to alert you to when our podcast is uploaded on the website, happysalad.net. It's a podcast about video games, as you might imagine. And obviously you're watching this on our YouTube channel, so like and subscribe and all of that for more content like this. In fact, probably much more content like this very soon. Alright, and I'm out of here.